kidding.
Hello, hello, hello. Today is Tuesday, October 23rd, and we are the Chaotic Christians. I'm Scott.
And I'm Doug.
And we are here again another week to bring you some lighthearted fun in the name of Jesus. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. But I decided that we need to be more fun. So, starting tonight, we're going to be more fun. We will be more fun. You heard it here first, because we are the Chaotic Christians. But anyway, no. Our job is to come at you every week and just talk to you in a realistic way, instead of like the holier than thou way that a lot of Christians do it. We're just normal people who love Christ, and we just want to communicate that to the rest of the world. And so this is the way we do it. So usually we start off with, how was your week? 1 to 5 stars. We just kind of talk about how things are going.
All right. I definitely have a good report.
Okay.
I'd give it a 4.5. I had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Not so much week, but weekend was good. I mean, I had off like last weekend, like a whole lot of days for a weekend, and then this weekend I went to the zoo, which was awesome. Yesterday before it rained, super fun. Petted sharks and all that.
Nice.
And then went to my parents' house after work, before work. I went there, hung out for a while, had some good food. You know, I called ahead of time. I'm like, Mom, I'm so hungry. And,
help me, Mama.
No.
Help me. You're my only hope.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. So I get home, right? And she's like, here, I got some food. I'm like, I didn't assume it was all free, but it was great. I had a Mountain Dew set up, and I had some taquitos, which I'm a huge fan of.
There you go.
What else was there? It was hella good. Pineapples and strawberries cut up.
Nice.
I had like a soup, chili, and then I had like chicken and something else. And they were all in different bowls, and a salad.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. So,
excellent.
Yeah, and it was fun. And Lindsay, it was my wife's parents' birthday. They share the same birthday.
How strange.
Yeah. So we went up to Eagle Creek Park.
Okay.
If you live in the Indy area, it's a really pretty, huge lake. So we went up there and got some pictures taken. I didn't, but they did. And it was just really pretty with all the fall colors and this and that. And now I'm here doing this, so we're rocking.
Right.
And I didn't go to church Sunday, so I had more time to sit around.
There you go. Very nice. I had a good week as well. I'd give it a 4 stars. For those of you who know, I'm the worship leader at Christ Community Church in Lamong on the roads.
And I went to Scott's thing.
That's right. And so he came, and that was really cool. The concert went fine. It was a little weird because we had some personnel changes, because that always happens whenever there are big changes in leadership and things like that. But also, as well as the concert, I've had this sore throat that I'm starting to get over. So getting over sickness is always a good thing. So I'm going to say 4 stars. Good stuff going on.
Yeah, dude, rocking. And your parents and your sister came out.
Yeah, lots of people came out. Like half the people there that were there that night.
And I came out.
Were guests of mine. So that was really interesting.
So yeah, it was a good night. Very
nice. Okay, so whenever Doug or Lindsay or Doug and Lindsay are here, we talk about the ball and chain. Life lessons from the new marriage. And you guys are in a new season now. For those of you who don't know, these guys are about to be homeless because the lease on their apartment's about to run out. So they've been like in super like high house seeking mode. So what's that been like?
I think the concept has been very stressful to me. Like just trying to figure out like, okay, so I make X amount of not a lot of dollars, and she makes money some, and works and goes to school and all this, and it's like we're sick of living in the apartments with like, crazy neighbors and this and that. So I don't know. I think it's just the money thing is confusing. Like, we'd like to get somewhere that's our own. Yeah. But we're not going to have to spend too much fixing up or this or that, Yeah. But, and it's just hard to find stuff that is right, and we want some place that's good. But my dad has been super helpful in like throwing us like a ton of houses, so we've been pretty much like every Thursday or Tuesday or both. Like the last weeks, we've been hitting up like 2 or 3 houses, before it gets dark after work. Right. So, and hopefully this Thursday we'll find something. So we're down to like our 4 picks. Yeah. So.
Like I've noticed over my own life that if anything requires spending more than $2,000, I start to get pretty stressed out pretty quickly.
And houses do.
Yeah, a lot more.
So yeah, I mean, but it's good. I'm really excited. I think it should go well.
But Lindsay and you are negotiating that pretty well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like, you know, she's got her favorites, I got my favorites, and we have like general, we'd really like a fireplace, or like a basement, or a yard, but really none of those are needed, but they'd all be cool. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
right.
If we can get those, they're awesome.
Right. Was that your phone that was ringing in the background?
Yes.
Last week we also had a phone ringing in the background, and I think from now on, like, an episode won't be complete unless the phone rings in the background.
That's Lindsay though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's either Lindsay or my mom that calls me. That's about it.
Good deal. All right, so moving right along. Check it out. Every week we come to you with a recommendation of something that we thought was cool that you should check out as well. So I'm going to go first with this one, and I have a really cool one. It's called TubeMogul.com. And for any of you who are interested in podcasting, chances are you're uploading stuff to the web yourself. And by the way, if you're podcasting or if you have a blog or anything like that, let us know about it. We'd love to know what kind of stuff you're up to. We'd love to give you some free promotion on the podcast here, without a doubt. But what TubeMogul lets you do is if you do things like YouTube or video things on like share webcams, TubeMogul will take your video and you will upload it once, and they will upload it to all the different services that are out there and help you keep track of how well your stuff is being downloaded. So it's www.tubemogul.com, and that's my check it out. Highly recommended.
All right, check it out this week. Not a whole lot of them. But I was thinking, I did check this out. I periodically get a whole bunch of emails from all this stupid crap that I signed up for, but I like it. And so the one thing to check out is like if you work for big corporation companies / anything that has to do with any kind of airline, and like I work for FedEx, so that's one of them. You get all these crazy discounts on like not just like airfare, but like travel packages and this and that, weekend trips, whatever. So there's like a billion websites to check out on that, but the one like I used one for the honeymoon, and it was openskies.com.
SKIES?
Yeah, and it's like they have like, and it's for like only those certain like airline type corporations, but you get really cool deals, and like if you have kids that are under 6 most of the time and all that, they go for free, whatever. And I don't know, I'll have a sweet book, check it out for next week, and maybe even a good movie.
There you go. All right, moving right along. Crazy Christians. Those crazy Christians. Every week, we take a little chance to kind of poke fun at the Christian community in our own way. We love Christ. We love people who love Christ.
But we hate people that are crazy for the wrong things.
Right. We hate the people that are stupid crazy instead of cool crazy. Right? And so we are never at a loss for examples of this kind of craziness.
I was just thinking, who's cool crazy? Like Kramer, and that's about it.
Right.
You know? Like,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, so there's this, once again, our friends at One News Now. Or no, this might actually be a different one. No, it's One News Now. They took a poll of Christian parents and asked them about contraception for teens, not for younger people, but for teenagers in schools. Is it okay to give out contraception? And overwhelmingly, I think it was like somewhere in 80%, they either said no contraception, or no, they said something like contraception leads to unsafe sex, or teenagers having sex, or the spread of disease, or both. And those 3 answers added up to like 80%. You know, and of course, for the Christian person, what else are they going to say other than handing out contraception to my Christian kids is not a good thing and only leads to bad things? Isn't that like another one of these like kind of no duh kind of moments? You know, I think it would have been more telling to have asked just a more generic pool of people, how do you feel about contraception in school? Because my problem with this is that it's not a blind poll, right? So I'm One News Now. I'm a Christian media source going to Christians.
Yeah, looking for Christian answers.
Right. And so if you want, like, even if I'm a Christian and I don't know you're a Christian organization, I might be liable to give you a different answer. But because I know that you're a Christian organization given the poll, I skew my answers towards what I think you want to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it would have been interesting if either the pollsters would have not been Christians, or if the polling group would have been a more
just a wider demographic.
Exactly.
Basically.
So for you people out there who are trying to gauge the temperature of culture. Could you do it in a way that makes sense, please? I'm begging you. You know, I don't mind being called like a Christian zealot because I'm willing to go to people and say, I really think you should know Jesus. But I hate being called a Christian zealot because well, your scientific methods are not very good. You know, it seems like how to poll people is something that's pretty well established on how to do it well, and you should follow those practices. Okay, that's all I'm saying, people.
Yeah, and on a second note, it's more about accountability.
Yeah,
more so, and I think that's the underlying cause that I have an issue with.
Totally.
Because it's like, hey, you know, teach integrity, accountability, all that.
Absolutely.
And your schools and your kids will be fine.
Exactly.
At least, you know, at least better.
Yeah.
Maybe not fine, but better.
Right. Okay, so this week for our regular topic, as well as poking fun at the church, we also like to do something that's more, what's the word? I say it every week. I can't think of it. Edifying. We like to do something that actually enriches people and challenges you to actually make a difference somehow. And so I pulled out another news story from One News Now. And there's a very popular evangelist. His name is Ray Comfort. You've heard his name from something he does with the actor Kirk Cameron called The Way of the Master, which has gained a lot of notoriety in recent years because it has a famous actor attached to it. But he's kind of come out publicly and said that we as Christians should boycott movies that take the name of the Lord in vain. And I think I understand his heart, right? His heart is for the integrity of the church and to preserve the righteousness of God, at least a perception of the righteousness of God. And so he's kind of saying something very practical, which is vote with your dollars, right? Yeah. If you don't go to these movies, then people won't make these movies. But I think my personal opinion is that this is backwards thinking. That if we want to affect change in Hollywood, if we want to affect change in culture, then retreating away from it is not the answer. We should dive headfirst into it. Mm-hmm. You know, we should go to these movies and we should be, you know, engaged with people. And so when we see like people in church who went to that movie, instead of saying something like, well, you shouldn't have went to that movie, you know, engage those kids or those people and say, hey, what do you think of that movie? What do you think, you know, what do you think of the overall message of the movie? And what did you get out of it? Or was it just 90 minutes of explosions and profanity? And actually take the opportunity to actually make a positive experience out of something that people are going to do anyway. Mm-hmm. You know?
I don't know, like, on that, like, I think I might have mentioned it. I went to this really cool, like, a whole bunch of us usually meet, like, Thursday nights, some local Starbucks, and just kind of talk about, you know, life and God and, you know, where everybody's at and stuff. But, so, we went to this church, and it was, like, in the basement of this church I'd never been to, mm-hmm. and there was a whole bunch of missionaries in town from, like, all over. And they all come to this church, like, once a year. Mm-hmm. So it was very small group, maybe, like, 30 people, something like that. And then it was cool because they were talking, like, amongst each other, not so much, like, pastor to,
right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And the guy's main thing was, like, hey, you know, there's, like, I forget the number, it was, like, maybe 7. He's like, mountains, you know, like, figuratively. And he's like, you know, as Christians, like, and that's a lot of, like, what we were talking about, you know, come to our church, do this, come to us, you know,
yeah.
Here and here and here. And it made me think about it because he's like, he mentioned movies, and he's like, all right, he's like, everybody, you know, has their thing. It's like, dive in and climb that mountain so you are, like, a prominent figure in, like, say, art and music. Yeah. And, you know, the different, you know, categories and that, and or, like, business and whatever, or this and that, you know what I mean? It's like why aren't there more Christians that are influencing, maybe not making movies, because obviously that hasn't worked
right
well.
Right.
And but like maybe just the people that are influencing, like, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not going to give you so much money for this film if it follows these guidelines. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I just think we need to pull more. I don't know. Like, I just think we need to kind of dive into culture more as opposed to diving out. And you know, there's a lot of Christians that have money and influence, you know, and it's like, why don't you jump in with the people that don't agree with what you want? Yeah. And maybe throw that influence and throw that money around a little. You know what I mean?
Also, like, I think there's this element of, is we expect athletes and celebrities and Hollywood, we expect them to be a sort of a moral example to everybody, especially to our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally don't find that to be my desire for Hollywood. You know, they're there to do a job, to make a product, and to make money.
Yeah, and so entertain.
That's what I expect them to do whatever they need to do to make money. You know, I expect morality and ethics. I expect those things to be taught in the home. I expect parents to do their jobs and take seriously the upbringing of their kids. You know, and so I think it's very unfair to expect Hollywood or the music industry or anything like that to take that mantle. You know, as a songwriter, and you know, you're a songwriter as well. You know, I don't think of myself as an artiste, but I do care about the art and the craft of what I do. And so, as an artist, I'm not really concerned with the amount of times I say the word Jesus or the amount of times I say the word God, but I'm really concerned about the transparency of showing my heart to people. And I'm really concerned about making sure that what I do put out on a CD is to the best of my ability true. Mm-hmm. You know? And so it's not my job to, as an artist, to make you happy. You know, my job is to express myself, and hopefully that enriches people. And if it does, great. But it's of no use if I just put out a product that only makes you happy and doesn't really express anything of truth.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think from this perspective of well, we need to boycott Hollywood films because they're not pretty. Well, it's not their job to be pretty. It's their job to be true. And the fact of the matter is, in the world today, there's lots of profanity. There's lots of ugliness. There's lots of craziness that is not beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's part of being true.
And I just feel like we've gone down that road before. Like, not we personally.
Yeah.
But like with Disney, you know, a lot of Christians are like, boycott Disney.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like Disney owns everything, for one, which people, you know, don't really care about.
Right.
But it's like, why would you do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like you can't, you know, like say if, you know, they use the Lord's name in vain like you were talking about. Why would I not see a whole movie for one line?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
I don't know.
Excellent. So once again, as always, I think the bottom line, like we always come back to this, is don't just follow the pack, and because this is what culture says, follow along with it. You know, engage your brain and take part in life and experience people. And don't just experience the people that it's okay to hang out with, i.e. the other people in your church, the other people who are Christians, the other people in your youth group. You know, but hang out with the dregs of society. You know, hang out with the people that are unlovable and underappreciated and all that stuff. And I think you'll be the better person for it.
Yeah, I think too, we were kind of talking prior, which I know is a little unfair for the video people, but either way, it's like Lindsay and I, as a couple, you know, we go to a lot of different churches and stuff, and it's like, if you're at a spot, I think, in your church and in your life where you're in a certain mode of thinking, and that certain mode of thinking is very narrowed out somewhere along the line, down the years, depending on how old you are, or whatever. Like, we're not going to see a movie really makes sense to you. It's like, then I kind of challenge you, you know, step back a minute, and maybe hit up a different church. Because then you're still in your surroundings. You still, you know, you still can find, you know, north, south, east, and west.
Yeah.
In that church, because you know the feel of it, but maybe see different people's hearts and how, like, we all have the same values here and there, but like, kind of a different take on different issues. Because I think I've been to certain churches and, you know, you see people that have been like hardcore Baptists their whole life.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, they love God. I'm all for that. You know, it's awesome, but maybe they differ on some subject that I don't. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And you know, you can share your common beliefs, but kind of have like a new standpoint and stuff on other things. So that's something I've definitely learned from going to a lot of churches lately.
Totally. So. Good deal. Well, to wrap things up with housekeeping, we haven't heard anybody from anything yet about the background and how you guys like to see this decorated. We really would like to hear from you and make this something really cool and not just throw up like white or black or something. But so give us some ideas for how to decorate our video set here.
Oh yeah, and hit me up at my email, doug@chaoticchristians.com, because one, I check it now.
Nice. We always appreciate that.
No, seriously, this is a new thing. So people hit me up. I'll write you back. I check it maybe twice a week now, which is a lot for me. So expect one back now. So
totally. And you can hit me up at Scott at Chaotic Christians as well.
Every hour.
Right. I check my email more frequently. But actually, I appreciate what you do because when you get tethered to your email, you forget to live life.
Yeah.
And so definitely, it's probably a good thing to get away. Voicemail. Love your voicemails. 317-468-9199. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you think. Give us ideas for shows. Give us your permission to use it on the show, and we would love to feature you. Show notes are at chaoticchristians.com. You can find links to everything we talk about, and you can leave comments there. And you can listen to our podcast over the telephone if you're in the car and you've got all sorts of minutes on your cell phone. 408-538-2172. And we just thought of a good idea for this. Is like you tell somebody about the podcast and you want them to hear it. So you just get your cell phone out, you dial it up and say, here, you can listen to it. And you can use it as a tool for getting the word out about what we do.
Yeah. Or text them the number or something cool like that.
Exactly.
Something.
And finally, if you don't want to email Doug or I personally, you can just send an email to email@chaoticchristians.com, and one of us will read it at some point and respond to it. But I think that's it for the week.
Yeah. Oh, here's another cool thing is you have that one comic strip on the website.
The Savage Chickens? Or Reverend Fun?
Reverend Fun. Alright, so I sometimes think they're funny. Quite a bit, actually. So it's like, hit it up, and if you think they're dumb, comment, and if you think they're awesome, comment on those. And
the one, although we have a video on the site, you probably have to scroll back a couple of weeks to find it, but it's called the Revelation Song. It's a really funny parody of the worship leader of the church just kind of writes a fun song about how he's uncomfortable with the book of Revelation.
Oh,
and it's really funny. You should check that one out.
So yeah, hit it up, be a little active, comment, and for Christ's sake, come back and hit us up next week.
For Christ's sake.
So yeah.
All right, well that's it. We're out of here. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless.